Hey guys, how's it going? I am WWE Hall of Famer Lita, welcoming you to General Admission Wrestling.
Hey folks, welcome to Friday Night Storm, and we welcome in the former Intercontinental Champion, Bobby Lashley, and in his corner is, of course, the notorious Conor McGregor. Lashley lost his Intercontinental Championship at After Party, and McGregor last week here on Storm promised that he would get it back and promised that he would finally be the first Intercontinental Champion with 4 reigns. Right now, he and the terrifying Walter are both tied with 3 career reigns. Lashley wants the 4th, and so he'll be coming back, presumably trying to come back at Bandito to get that. At least that's what Conor McGregor has promised. So you can consider this the beginning of the comeback tour for the former champ, and I feel sorry for the poor soul that it's a step in the ring with him.
For he is limitless.
That poor soul is Keith Lee. We haven't seen Lee in quite some time. He is still reeling from the effects of his match at Nitro 10. He had a last man standing match with Matt Riddle, and it was when you talked to him about it, it was one of the toughest experiences of his life. His former best friend, tag team partner, Matt Riddle, he had to put him down in front of tens of thousands, and he said that was so difficult for him. I'll tell you what's not difficult, though, is listening to this entrance theme, and you can listen to Keith Lee's music, Bobby Lashley's music, every single entrance theme in GAW over on our Spotify playlist. That's right. If you just search General Admission Wrestling on Spotify, go over to our website or check the link in the description. You can find a playlist of every single entrance theme in General Admission Wrestling, as well as the theme songs for our special events and some other fun stuff in there. So go check that out. That's your day sorted right there. Talk about a workout playlist. That's what I use. Lashley now. This is a big match for him. Often these first matches after losing a title really define how you're going to go forward, how it's going to look for you as you try to presumably get that title back. Keith Lee, meanwhile, we haven't seen this man in months now. His last match on Storm was all the way back in episode 4. We're now on episode 17, if you can believe that. Keith Lee battled world champion Aleister Black in non-title action. Black did defeat him there. So Keith Lee has not been seen, at least on Storm, since then. It's really, again, it just goes to show how difficult it was for him to be able to come back from that Nitro match against Matt Riddle. He's been very open with, struggling with it mentally. And obviously physically a match like that will affect you as well. Matt Riddle's already fought for the world championship in that time. So, Riddle, it didn't do as much for Riddle as it did apparently for Keith, which is to be expected. I don't really consider Matt Riddle to be a very empathetic person, but obviously Keith Lee is, so it did affect him. And now Bobby Lashley affecting him in a big way, firing away with those right hand shots. First 2 minutes of this match has been all Bobby Lashley. Again, all in pursuit of his 4th Intercontinental Championship. Would be the first time that's ever been done. Lashley with a full Nelson slam. I'm just hearing word, folks. Women's World Champion Dakota Kai's backstage. We will hear from her right after this match, and it may not be very long. Lashley with a spear, and Keith Lee, look at that, just hurdles right over it. That's the athleticism of Keith Lee, and you can hear the fans trying to will Keith Lee back into this contest. He's got Lashley in the corner, Irish whip off, and Keith Lee, look at this, massive pounce from Lee. That's the first real offense we've seen delivered to Bobby Lashley. You can see Conor McGregor immediately a little bit more intense here. He's leaned forward. Keith Lee was looking for a spirit bomb. Bobby Lashley, huge backdrop. And now Lashley has the entire canvas to work with here. Lashley out of the corner, Lashley with a spear. Conor McGregor loves it. The fans do not. Cover here from the former champ, and Bobby Lashley has beaten Keith Lee. Well, welcome back to the fold, Keith. Here's former Intercontinental Champion and one of the toughest men in wrestling. It's unfortunate for Keith Lee. This is a tough matchup to put him in. Here's the Spirit Bomb attempt countered into a back body drop by Lashley, and then a massive spear. A bone-rattling spear from Bobby Lashley. Keith Lee at 300 pounds, just taken off his feet by the former champion. Lee is still down, and Keith Lee apparently still trying to figure himself out mentally after that match at Nitro 10. Bandito may be looking at his next opponent. Backstage, Women's World Champion Dakota Kai. It'll be the first time we've heard from her since After Party. Ronda Rousey wants to come after my World Championship now? She should have thought of that before she let herself go through all those tables. It's not my fault that she can't figure out her own fragile mentality before she gets her ass beat. So no, Ronda Rousey does not get a third match from my title, the most prestigious title in GAW. We world champions hold ourselves to higher standards than mentally deranged swine like Ronda Rousey. The words from Ronda Rousey, I can't believe that she would say something like that. Or I can't believe Dakota Kai would say something like that about Ronda Rousey. You're talking about the first U.S. champion, a woman that beat Lita, and I understand that this is a decade after Lita's great world championship run, but still, she remains one of the best to ever do it, and Dakota Kai just gonna talk to Rousey like that, but I guess is what we've come to expect from Dakota Kai. Lucha Brothers, meanwhile, making their entrance out here, and we will get to see them in tag action for what has been a precious few times this season. Talk about a fall from grace for the Gorillas of Destiny. Still one of the best teams on earth, but the competition is so stiff in general admission wrestling that for these two guys, they went from holding the tag team championships going into Nitro 10 to not having won a match in Season 2. Matches against the Usos, the Mighty Don't Kneel, and the B Team. If you can imagine that, yes, the B Team. And GOD 0-3 in those matches. It's unfortunate. As I say, they remain one of the best teams in the world. But because of the stiff competition presented to you in GAW, it's been pretty hard for them to bounce back from losing those championships. So this would be a good opportunity against one of the other best teams in the world, in the Lucha Brothers, another team that has not really been able to figure themselves out here in Season 2. Pentagon in. This is a really interesting match, not only because both of these teams have combined for no wins and 4 losses in Season 2, but this is actually a rematch from when the Gorillas of Destiny won the Tag Team Championships in Season 1. The Lucha Brothers were helped to win the titles by the Evil Alpha. They beat the Usos. The Gorillas of Destiny stepped up. They ended up winning the titles. And then, of course, the Usos recaptured the gold from the Gorillas of Destiny at that time. So this is a rematch from then. And these two teams went from fighting for the titles in Season 1 to fighting for their first win in Season 2. It just shows you how quickly things can change. And it shows you also just how momentum plays a factor in this. You see, the Lucha Brothers, they have not won a match since losing those titles, since losing the support of Alpha. And Penta with a victory roll. Tama goes face first. But the Guerrillas of Destiny have also not won a match since they lost the titles to the Usos at Nitro 10. Oh, God. Bolo punch from Tama Tonga. Pentagon now allowed to dive in, and he tags. Here comes Rey Fenix, and Fenix starts things off. Big basement drop kick. Fenix feeling himself right now, but Tama Tonga shuts that down quickly. He knew what he needed to do. Phoenix rockets out of the corner. Big elbow. And now Phoenix, he's going to get running. This is exactly what he needs to do. Phoenix, one of the best high flyers in the world. Probably the best rope worker in professional wrestling. Big Gamangiri and Rey Fenix. He's feeling it now, but again, Tama Tonga, he's able to stop that in its tracks. Phoenix too quick. Out of the corner. He goes in a big drop kick. I think Tama Tonga broke his nose on that victory roll facebuster from Pentagon. So visibility might become an issue if we go any longer in this match. Irish whip in, Phoenix into the corner, Tonga Loa with a reverse suplex, brings him over the top. And Tama Tonga, he makes his feelings known. These teams didn't like each other in Season 1 when they fought for the gold, and they certainly don't like each other now. They're pretty antithetical the way they approach matches, what they do. They fight entirely differently, so you can understand the animosity between them. Big spear from Tama Tonga. Not only the clash of personalities, but the clash of styles as well. The clash of philosophies about what is good for tag team wrestling, what wins tag team matches. You can see why these two teams would have issues with each other. Left hand shot, and Tama Tonga with a jumping headbutt. Referee nearing the count of 10 here. Obviously this match is important for both these teams, so you know that neither team wants any kind of count out, any kind of disqualification. Tag in, here comes Pentagon once again. This match is so important for both teams to get that first win. As I said, momentum plays a huge factor. Right now, the Usos, they need some challengers. The Mighty Don't Kneel have failed twice to win the tag team championship, so the Usos are going to need something new. Tag in, here comes Tonga Loa, and the Usos just might get a familiar face. Magic Killer. Tonga Loa in, and this may be the only thing he needs to do. Rey Fenix not going to get there, and the Guerrillas of Destiny have won with the Magic Killer. Rey Fenix was just a second too late, and in tag team wrestling, that's all it takes. There was the big spear that basically put Rey Fenix out, forced to tag in, and Pentagon immediately comes in and eats the Magic Killer. Here's another look at it. Set up from the corner, the Magic Killer, one of the most infamous, one of the most dangerous double team maneuvers in professional wrestling. This is a great look, and we'll see Rey Fenix come in, and Phoenix just 1 second too late to break up that cover. But the Guerrillas of Destiny, first win of Season 2, and they may very well be on track to a rematch with the Usos. Backstage, Rey Mysterio and Intercontinental Champion Bandito, they have an announcement concerning our main event tonight. I've been in and around general admission wrestling for over a decade, and the one thing Intercontinental Champions always are is fearless. Even Bobby Lashley, I got to give the man credit where it's due. He put his title on the line 8 times in 7 months. You can say he was a better wrestler than Buddy Murphy or Ricochet, but the reality is he could have lost his title at any time during all that. Bandito is going to do the same. We see two men fighting in the main event who would be worthy first opponents. So we are officially challenging the winner of tonight's main event to an Intercontinental Championship match next Friday. Well, from one segment of LAX to another, Rey Mysterio announcing that the winner of our main event will challenge Bandito for the Intercontinental Championship. In our main event, by the way, Kofi Kingston versus Will Ospreay. So talk about that. That's a dream match in and of itself, and one of those guys is going to fight Bandito for the Intercontinental Championship next week. I can't wait for that. Meanwhile, Rosita trying to do her part as part of LAX and win a title to match Bandito's, and certainly she's been on a little bit of a roll ever since Bandito won that Intercontinental Championship. Now that I think about it, it just shows you, all these four are friends. They train together, and so you feel that momentum, you feel that energy in the training room, in the weight room, on the practice mats. You feel that, and it really helps you excel. And in the case of Rosita, where it looked like she was struggling for a time there, she has really come back with a vengeance, beating former United States champion Tegan Knox right here on Storm. She now has a 4-3 record, Rosita does. And in her case, it's been a pretty solid turnaround from her. Certainly helped out by Bandito and Hernandez and Rey Mysterio, and now Jessamyn Duke has the task. So let's see if Jessamyn Duke is up to the task here against Rosita. This has been a tough match for just about everyone who has stepped in the ring with the representative of LAX, who, as I say, since joining the group has really turned things around, and Hernandez has been a big part of that. Hernandez came to GAW and joined Rosita specifically because he said that he sees all the talent in Rosita, all the athleticism, what she can do, and he just wants to be a part of furthering that growth. Oh man, Jessamyn Duke looking for, I think, a takedown, and Rosita just caught her with that knee, and now Rosita, cross arm breaker applied here by Rosita. This is an interesting decision to do this to someone who's so experienced in mixed martial arts, and Jessamyn Duke knows exactly how she needs to counter out of that one. Hernandez has really worked with Rosita on leveraging her athleticism and her skill and being able to use it in the right opportunities, being able to do the right things with all those physical gifts that she does possess. Rosita catches the boot from Jessamyn Duke, and now look at this. Leg trap German suplex. You wouldn't realize that Rosita has the strength that she has. Looking at her physical stature, one of the smallest wrestlers in GAW, and yet she does possess a lot of strength and incredible amounts of athleticism, very springy as well. We see it on, of course, the Exchange, which has been both her best friend and her worst nightmare at times, and now up against the ropes is Jessamyn Duke. Irish whip off, and Rosita looking for a back elbow, but Jessamyn Duke able to sidestep it, and again, Rosita just too quick for her. Jessamyn Duke turns around, right hand strike, Irish whip into the corner, and Rosita caught her with a DDT. The quickness of Rosita on full display, and now a super kick finds its mark. Rosita unleashes one right to the jaw, and Rosita picks up the win. Wow, that super kick just planted right into the jaw of Jessamyn Duke. My goodness. Just look at that. And Rosita, that's all she needs. Hernandez, he knows it. Absolutely phenomenal stuff from Rosita. That's how dangerous she is, so maybe she'll find herself with a title shot sooner rather than later. Speaking of the title picture, Ronda Rousey returns to action next week right here on Friday Night Storm. Dakota Kai called her out. Rousey back here on Storm. We'll see what she brings to the table. And of course, our main event next week, Bandito versus the winner of our next match, either Kofi Kingston or Will Ospreay, coming up against the Intercontinental Championship. It will be Bandito's first defense of the title. So let's see who it is that he'll be defending against. So this relatively impromptu number one contenders match, this is something else here between two guys that are former Intercontinental champions, and two very good ones at that. Two very entertaining reigns, both in season 1. So you can go back right now and you can watch their reigns from start to finish, and you can do that by going over to our website, generaladmissionwrestling.com. Not only can you see all the title histories of all our championships, but there will be links to every episode of every defense. We saw Kofi Kingston in Atlanta on Dark a couple days ago, and the fans there was only a few hundred of them, but they went absolutely nuts. And now here, in front of only about 10,000, they're going nuts here as well. So I said you can go watch every single match of both of these guys' Intercontinental Championship reigns right now on our website. And may I recommend Kofi's match against Walter. Actually, both these guys had matches against Walter with the title on the line. Go watch them both. They were both phenomenal contests, and we're about to see another great one here. But once again, that's generaladmissionwrestling.com, and you can see every match fought for the Intercontinental Championship. Kofi Kingston looking for a big double sledge, and the referee, he was getting a little too close to that one. The high-flying ability of both of these guys will be on display here. Will Ospreay made his first defense against GAW Academy legend Yun Son Park when Ospreay unified the Intercontinental and Cruiserweight Championships back in September of last year. That was a great match as well. So if you're in the mood, again, just head on over to the website. You can see it. You can watch that match. The link's right there, all the way on the right-hand side, and it's well worth your time. Both these guys had incredibly popular and very entertaining reigns, although neither of them lasted for over 100 days. Ospreay's was just 74 days. Kingston's was just 89, but both were entertaining. They had the fans popping. It was a great time to be in General Admission Wrestling, and now one of them is looking to redo that, try to bring back some of that magic, and this match between two of the best athletes in General Admission Wrestling, there's no doubt. First cover of the match here for Will Ospreay. The aerial assassin does get a 2 count. Some quick attacks on Kofi Kingston. Both of these guys have changed their games a little bit, although in very different ways. Kingston has gone back to the highly athletic style that made him successful in the early 2010s. Will Ospreay has actually gained some weight and taken some of the athletic style out of his game a little bit. Ospreay handspring, Os Cutter. Well, I said some of, not all of, but look at that. Os Cutter delivered to Kofi Kingston. And Ospreay, if that's not a great example, Os Cutter countered, followed by a huge lariat, but Kingston kicked out. Ospreay gained some weight to win the Intercontinental title, and it has worked. Kofi Kingston, though, no amount of weight gain can stop the devastating effects of a drop kick right to the back. Kingston, he'll make his first cover here, and Ospreay kicks out. This is high level wrestling that you're seeing right here. This is championship level wrestling between these two. Kingston looking for a vertical suplex. Ospreay able to shift his weight, comes down behind. Over the top. goes Kofi Kingston, and now Will Ospreay gonna bring him in the hard way. Kingston to his feet. Ospreay, boot to the gut. Ospreay, he's got the double underhooks in, and Will Ospreay, Stormbreaker. Boom! Right in the middle of the ring. Ospreay's got the leg hooked, and Will Ospreay will be facing Bandito for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, it's hard when these two guys are in the ring for the fans to pick a favorite. I think Kofi Kingston is the perennial fan favorite, but nobody will be disappointed to see Will Ospreay go up against Bandito with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Least of all myself, I'm going to be here calling that match, and what an experience. I cannot wait to see these two square off. Now, they have fought before. In fact, they have fought in the Best of the Super Juniors back in 2019. So right before Ospreay made his journey over to General Admission Wrestling, Best of the Super Juniors, Ospreay won. That was the last time that they fought in a singles contest. So yes, we're gonna get to see them rematch, talk about a dream match that's happening next week. And you need to subscribe so that you know exactly when that video drops next Friday, because that is a match you cannot miss. So we'll see you next week. We appreciate you folks. Thank you so much.